Hey everybody, this is James from TeaDB bringing you a solo Inbetweenisode. It has been a while, actually. I have not filmed many of these, so this is the first one in quite some time. So today I am drinking a right Pu'erh from W2T. This tea had the irresistible name given to it of Lumber Slut, supposedly because it has really woody taste. He used the word petrichor, which I had to look up, not in a dictionary, but I just looked it up online because I wasn't sure what that was actually, and it's a term used to describe a certain sort of woodiness, I believe, at least that's my understanding of it. So it's a right Pu'erh. I ended up splitting a cake with my friend Garrett, who often appears in these episodes, just as sort of like a way to try it. I'm drinking the last little bit of my split of cake here, and yeah, so this is actually steep number 5 and steep number 6 right here. So you can see there's quite a bit of just liquid in this thing. That's because I'm using my right Pu'erh pot, which is a little bit bigger, using the ratio of 7 grams for 150 milliliters. Yeah, and we are going to get to the tea, and real quickly. So I am going to smell these leaves. I feel like the aroma has changed quite a bit from the very early steeps. I get more of the sort of like a little bit of those light fruit tones. Still, it sort of has a woody base. Earlier I was getting more vanilla creamy notes to this in terms of aroma. It smells very much in that right category. Some of it kind of reminds me a little bit of sometimes how maybe one of the aromas that something like the 7581 will give off sometimes. Maybe a little bit of that like red date fruitiness to it. So let's get drinking. Smooth, soft. I would say that vanilla creamy aspects to it definitely were not in the aroma when I smelled it, but in the cup, definitely so. Yeah, sweet, very smooth. For me, this is very easy to drink. I think the description may have given the impression that this was a little bit muddier or dirtier than it is. Maybe this is just sort of like the style of right Pu'erh that I enjoy drinking, but I didn't find it to be dirty or especially dirty or not clean in any sort of way. So in fact, I drink a few teas that definitely have more of that wet storage taste that I think most people would probably find quite a bit more offensive than this tea. But anyways, this tea totally fine by my standards of cleanliness or muddiness. In fact, I ordered a sample of the Sunday Special, and that tea to me had a lot more of that kind of like, ooh, I would let this settle for a few months sort of feel to the tea. So here's steep number 6. The reason I'm going just into steep 5 and 6 is I feel like these are more of the, well, these are still sort of the heart of the tea. I'm also trying to do something new, and you guys can let me know how you like it. I'm trying to rate these teas now, give it a rating, just something I'm trying out. I know some people really despise that sort of thing, so cover your ears, cover your eyes, because you don't like tea to be evaluated in that sort of way. But I find for myself that these ratings can sometimes just be helpful. It's certainly not the end-all be-all, and you should certainly take the rating as my opinion rather than like some sort of like very well-defined objective rating of the tea, I should say. Yes, we're going to keep going, and I will keep talking a little bit about that rating system. Okay, so this tea I think is a little bit stronger. The brews of this tea, you can see it's sort of like a very dark reddish black right now. It does get a little bit darker in like third or fourth steep, and it's just starting to lighten up a little bit. In my experience, this has pretty good longevity for a rye. It goes for maybe 10 or 11 steeps. This steep is definitely more dominated by sort of like those woody flavors. I'd almost say like a little bit of petroleum in this. I know that's a term that Denny will usually use for raw pu'erh, but I find that to actually be a little bit accurate for this steep. Sweet, I'd say the thickness is probably slightly above average for a ripe pu'erh. Yeah, and I would say overall I enjoy this a bit more than a Dai of the same year. Yeah, so a little bit about the rating system. I have decided to shamelessly rip off Marco's rating system. He has a blog at mgualt.com/tlog. So you definitely go check out his reviews. He has a lot of really in-depth tasting notes, and I always enjoy reading his. And so he rates his tea from a 0 to 10.0 scale. And so for me, this tea, I'm going to give it a 6.4. And that is one of the reasons I had a few extra infusions before this tea. I just wanted to get a feel, be more assured of my rating. So that falls into the category of it has a special something, a positive attribute that stands out and impresses, but is beneath a holistic success. So for me, that feels about right for this tea. I think it's well above average for a ripe pu'erh. In fact, I enjoy this tea quite a bit. I have not yet decided if I want to buy more of it or not. But I do find that it's pretty enjoyable, and it is in the sort of category of ripe pu'erh that I tend to like and tend to be able to drink quite a bit. A little bit more about the rating of teas. I'm going to be rating teas, and I have a few more queued up that happen to fall into the categories of tea where I'm comfortable actually rating them. So I'm not going to be rating oolongs, white teas, green teas, black teas, or anything like that. Mainly because I don't drink those teas so much, and I would feel like my opinion probably isn't worth quite as much. I would feel a little bit less secure about those opinions. But I do actually, for a long time I did not drink ripe pu'erh, but these days I've been drinking it a bit more. So this would be one of the categories where I do feel comfortable at least trying to give a tea rating. The other two categories would probably be, well, aged oolongs, semi-aged raw pu'erh, and aged raw pu'erh. All of those categories I do drink from fairly often. So we'll see where teas end up falling. This is literally the first tea that I have rated on this scale. So let me know how you guys like that. If you think I should just shut the hell up and just talk about the tea and not bother with the number, that is, you have your right to that opinion, and I will take it very seriously. But in the meantime, cheers guys. Tea is cooling down a little bit. For me, these sorts of ripe pu'erhs are the perfect sorts of teas to drink any time of the day, morning, after lunch, in the evening. For me, I had a few infusions of this in the morning. This is now after lunch. I'm drinking this right around 2 p.m. So I'm having these next steeps on camera. And that tends to be how I drink pretty commonly throughout the day. I'll start a tea in the morning, have a few more sips in the afternoon, and usually I'll call it. So I'll average maybe 2 teas a day. One of the teas I will primarily serve to my wife. So it ends up being a pretty moderate amount of tea compared to maybe what I was drinking when I was just getting started. But I find it's a pretty healthy amount for my body. I don't feel overly caffeinated or anything like that. Anyways, I am starting to ramble. For those of you that have tried this tea, please let me know how you like it. How would you rate this tea? Would it be a 6.4? Or would this tea be lower or higher? I'm curious to hear. And again, let me know how you liked this episode. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys for the next episode.